What?
Just. Quite a bit.
Hello.
I know the members are reading a letter that was placed in front of us regarding an item tonight, but I'm going to get the meeting started, okay? Call this meeting to order of the Planning Commission's regular meeting for Monday, August 14th, 2023. First order of business is the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Secretary McConnell, please take the roll.
Member Schweitzer.
Present.
Member Meadow. Here. Member Mudry.
Present.
Member Kozinski.
Here.
Member Elzinga.
Here.
Member Bradley.
Here.
Secretary McConnell is here. Vice Chair Hunt Proctor
Here.
and Chair Weinfeld.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 4, approval of the agenda.
So moved.
The fourth.
Moved by member Kaczynski, supported by member Hunt Proctor. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? The agenda is approved. Next, we have approval of the minutes of the July 24, 2023 Planning Commission meetings.
So moved. Support.
Moved by member Schweitzer, supported by member Mudry. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The minutes are approved. Correspondence. We have had a letter placed in front of us regarding one of the items on the agenda tonight. All members should have that. Otherwise, there is none. Full business, none. Public hearings. Secretary McConnell.
Mr. Chair, we have case number 06-20-05. A request for a group daycare license, capacity 7 to 12 children at 4123 Barton Road, Lansing, Michigan. The subject property is located approximately 0.21 miles west of Waverly Road in section 12 of Delta Township.
All right,
Who's got this?
I'll take this one. As we just said, 4123 Barton, just right here, a little bit off of Willow Highway and Waverly here. More or less, most of it is kind of a standard for this is a request for a group child daycare, which is so in single family homes in Michigan, the ability to watch 1 to 6 children in your home as a childcare business is a associated property right with single family housing. For people that want to do up to 7 to 12 requires a special land use permit from the local municipality, which they're requesting. The list of standards are kind of a little sparse there, but the more or less her plan is to enclose. She has a fence on the back of her yard. She wants to enclose the property. Watch up to 12 children, and the applicants in the audience tonight, she actually has 2 children, so that it would actually only be the ability to watch 10 extra children. So the 12 children includes the caretaker's children as well. More or less, I mean, I think that the close proximity to the 2 kind of primary roads kind of negates a lot of the, you know, that this has been back further where people are driving through neighborhoods and stuff. You know, you can create kind of traffic issues if it ends up being more than the 2 or 3 families that she kind of anticipates, because you kind of have to review these by worst case scenario, which would ultimately be, I guess, 12 separate car trips. But the close proximity of the 2 roads kind of negates a lot of that fear. We have the one neighbor who the letter that's in front of you, I believe they live in this house here. Yes, okay. So they raised some concerns about, so one of the standards in there is to be more than 1,500 feet from halfway houses, other daycares and adult foster homes. And then there is a nearby at 4233 Apple Tree is a former child respite home. So it wasn't a house. This was a home that was owned by the Eaton Clinton Ingham County Mental Health Association. It was a child respite care home where basically parents with kind of overactive kids could kind of take their kids for a couple hours and go see a movie or something. It wasn't a full-time. I mean, it was full-time that there would be kids there, but it wouldn't be the same kids. And it wasn't a owner occupied type thing. So it was a separate license that isn't listed in the ordinance as something that you're not allowed to be within 1,500 feet of. And it's actually not currently in operation. I believe that letter that's been provided has a link to a request for proposal for somebody from the state to take it over. So that the Community Health Association actually sold it to the state of Michigan, but it's currently not being operated as anything. So really, she doesn't run afoul of any of those uses within 1,500 feet. And then kind of between us and the planning director kind of decided that it wouldn't really count anyway, because it was like I said, not one of the license listed, and it was only up to 6 kids. So generally those rules apply to things that have 7 to 12 people. So yeah, I didn't notice anything that would kind of stand out to me as a reason to deny it. The applicant is here if you have additional questions about her operation. She's planning on being open Monday through Friday, 7 to 5. And she said at previous addresses that she's worked at, she expects 2 to 3 kids, and she's pretty diligent about meeting them right at the door. So there's not lag time and they're in and out, and basically to minimize as much kind of overlap and traffic problems as she can. Like I said, the applicant is here. If you have any questions for her, I'd be happy to answer any more questions too.
Any questions of staff? Would the applicant like to come up and speak to the proposal at all? Yep, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Catherine Figueroa Guzman. The address is 4123 Barton Road, Lansing, Michigan, 48917.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add to the report or anything you'd like to say? Okay. Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, just
Kaczynski.
one quick one. The issue was raised about noise, potential noise and that kind of stuff with the neighbors. That's mitigated some by your hours of operation, that you're not going to be well into the evening or very early in the morning. But would you consider limiting outside time for the kids to maybe after 9 or 9:30 or whatever, to allow adequate time for people to sleep? And
Sure, that's something that I've been thinking about. We usually in our daycare that we have now in Grand Rapids, they go outside around 10:30 after they eat a snack. So they have energy to run and play outside, and like for 30 minutes, depends how are the kids and the weather, and yeah.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I can see by your schedule here and the material we have, outdoor activity is specific to 2 times a day. So thank you. Thank you. Any other questions of the applicant? Member Proctor?
I have a couple of questions. These just popped in my head as I was reading the materials.
Do you know when you intend to begin operation?
As soon as I have everything the license Lara needs. I already have parents waiting, so as soon as possible. Yeah,
And when do you anticipate enclosing the backyard with the fence?
we already, sorry, we already paid for the job. We are just waiting for the personnel to start the job, so as soon as possible as well.
The other question that I have is that you anticipate kids being picked up at 5. Do most of your parents get off work before 5 o'clock?
Yeah. The close time is 5, but they usually come before, like, families has different schedules. So they start coming around 3:30, 4:30, 5, maybe 5:15, if the traffic is bad, but usually 5 or before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're
And
welcome.
then the other question that I have on page 3, it says, that the group childcare operations have potential to expand to as many as 12. Are there a different license if you have more than 12 children?
12 is the most you can have,
Yeah.
but beyond that, you become like a commercial
Okay.
daycare center, yep.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's all I have.
Any other questions for the applicant?
And so right now you only have 2? Two.
On my, yeah, these 2 are ours, kids.
No,
but
I mean,
Yeah.
that you're taking it.
Yeah.
that you're
Yeah, we have a waiting list for 4 children right now.
taking- oh,
Yeah, and I don't want to put marketing right now because we're not open and very much family are looking for childcare and they need it now. So I'm waiting until we are open to offer the service. So, but we have 4 kids right now waiting.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I don't know if this question is for staff or the applicant. Saw something with reference to signage about the daycare program. What's allowed and what's not allowed?
I can look into that. I don't think that, do you have to know?
Off the top of my head, I believe you can have 2 square feet of signage for home business. But there is an argument to be made that you theoretically could probably have a 3x4, which is the largest residential for sale sign would be. Because of the reverse Gilbert thing. You're not allowed to read the sign to regulate it, so you kind of have to treat everything the same within the zoning district.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Anyone else here to speak on the item?
Mr. Chair, I move we close the public hearing. Support.
Been moved and supported to close the public hearing. What is the?
I'd like to make a motion.
Member Hunt Proctor.
I move that the planning commission.
We didn't vote on the motion to close the public.
Oh, did we need to vote that? Thank you.
I don't know, did we get a second too? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did get a second.
Thank you. First time chairing, you have to excuse me. Thank you, Member McConnell. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Public hearing is closed. Okay, now member.
I move that the planning commission recommends to the Delta Township Board approval of the special land use permit requested to establish of a child group care home at 4123 Barton Road as described in case number 07-2310 for the following reasons, for which there are 2, in addition to conditions of approval, for which there are 5.
Second.
It's been moved by member Hunt Proctor, supported by member Bradley. Any further discussion? Mr. Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Member Switzer,
Well, I have a point here. There's difference in the case number on the.
Yeah, I think I have it as, it's the 07 one is correct. I'm sorry. Yeah, and the other one that was, 05.
Thank you, member
Yep.
Schweitzer, for pointing that out.
Which one is correct?
The one on the agenda is correct. I think on a previous thing I had sent out was 05, but it's the one on the agenda is correct, the correct case number.
Okay. Member Schweitzer,
Support.
member that I was absent. Member Mudry,
Support.
member Kaczynski,
Support.
member Elzinga,
Support.
member Bradley,
Support.
Secretary McConnell supports, Vice Chair Hunt Proctor,
Support.
and Chair Weinfeld.
Support.
Unanimous support.
Thank you. The motion to approve is adopted. Matt, would you tell the applicant what's next?
This is just a recommendation. The final vote will be next Monday night, same room, same time. Probably just one of you should be here, but this recommendation will get forward to them and the final vote will be next week. And I'll shoot you an email tomorrow with that same info, but yep, so thank you.
Next on the agenda is public hearing regarding the 2024 through 2029 capital improvements program.
But that'll be me. We're just pulling it up right now.
David?
Thank you. All right, so in your packet this week was the draft copy of the 2024 capital improvements program. We'll just kind of run through it a little bit. And if you have any questions while we're going, please don't hesitate to ask. So the first part's kind of, boilerplate. What is a CIP? Kind of just general information for the public. Chapter 2. So this talks about the legal foundation on why we can and how we're supposed to do the CIP process. Chapter 3 is the explanation of our metrics to how we score things. Was there any questions regarding that? It's the same one that we've used the last 2 years, I believe. All right.
David, I got,
Yes, sir.
the cover sheet on chapter 2.
Yeah, I just saw it when I was scrolled down.
Okay.
So here we have the 2024 capital budget with all the projects and the associated scoring. As you can see, the pathway from Saginaw, Mall Drive to Elmwood got the most along Ivan Street. Just so you're aware, this is step one of a two-phase process. So this is just hiring consultants to do the plan. Next year will be construction. So you'll see this again for next year's CIP.
David, I'm thankful you put the list in score, descending scores on there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Were there any questions regarding the list?
I have just a curiosity question.
Sure.
It was easy to follow. How were the category weights determined?
Kind of just by, going back and forth with what made sense. I know we changed the weighting a little bit on the second year. Because initially the master plan process was weighted 2, and we all agreed that it should probably be a 3. Just because of how important master planning is, or putting out public plans regarding capital improvements.
Are those staff recommendations to come up with the weightings?
Yeah, honestly, I came up with something and no one really questioned it besides the master plan. So if you have comments or concerns, more than happy to.
No, everything could be arguable. I just didn't know how it was developed.
Gotcha. Then we have the budget narrative, and these are just, if you put the two documents together, you can file the list down and get a little bit more information about, the specific projects. After that, sorry, I'm used to having a keyboard to make this a little bit easier for me. So this is the 2024-2029 capital program. So these are, projects on the back burner. Their projected years are listed right here. It's a possibility that something could happen and they could get removed, or, these years could get pushed forward, but this just kind of gets these projects on our radar, so we can start, making preparations for years to come. The board can use them for budgeting purposes and what have you. Were there any questions about this?
So those items were not scored, they're just listed.
Because they're not for, yeah. And, because of that, the narratives are in the packet, but they're in the back with everything else.
Right.
I've just been really trying to streamline this document for the last 5 years. When I first got it, it was pretty long and pretty cumbersome. And next it goes into sanitary sewer. So, I always joke about this, that we don't score water and sewer because we just want it to work, and whatever Rick Kane wants, Rick Kane gets. Were there any questions about this? Perfect. So, Rick does a great job of looking into the future, probably more so than any other department. So he really has a really good idea on what, the next 6 years are going to require to maintain an adequate level of service. And then we go into the same thing for the water. Water fund. Last page is the capital projects fund. I did double check with Courtney, and this balance is incorrect. I do have the right number in front of me, which is $3,072,323 is what the balance will be.
Can you repeat that one more time, please?
$3,072,323.
Thank you.
I think the overall total for the 2024 CIP ask was around 4 million. So, in the budget for at least 75% of these projects to go ahead next year. Were there any questions regarding the document?
Any questions from members for staff?
Dave, did you get mine?
I got yours, and I'll fix them all. Regarding your question on the paramedic levy renewal, I believe that we did have a renewal in 08 as well as 18.
David, regarding the recent approval for spending for the new sheriff substation, what's the process for that now?
The sheriff substation, it's been, the plan was at the last planning commission meeting, so that was approved. We're still waiting on some redesign work for final approval, but it's in motion.
Okay.
The money's just automatically going to start flowing.
Right. Okay. Thank you. This is a public hearing. Are there any comments on the capital improvement plan from the public? Thank you for bearing with us. Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So support.
Been moved by member Schweitzer, supported by member Moudry, that we close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing is closed.
Has the case credit union been approved as far as for the temporary situation for the substation?
The Case Credit Union,
Yeah,
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
well, as far as for the temporary until the other one is built, when they tear down this one.
Where's the sheriff's substation going to be located?
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. I honestly don't know.
Wasn't it gonna go into the old high school?
Oh, yeah, it's gonna go in. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Virginia.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Peter Menser, Economic Development Director,
Sorry.
Delta
Peter.
Township 7710 West Saginaw.
Thank you.
Sorry, I
apologize,
knew
Peter. I
the
was-
answer to this one. Normally I wouldn't chime in. Its last board meeting, the township board approved for the temporary location to be at the Case Credit Union that Commissioner Schweitzer mentioned.
Thank you.
So that is happening.
Appreciate that. Thanks for being here. Okay.
So yes, Jim.
All right. Do we have anyone want to offer a motion?
I would offer a motion, but I think somebody other than the members of the committee should
we should
make the
do
motion.
No reason. There really is no reason.
There's no reason?
No, you were on the committee. Do you support the report or not?
I support my.
Okay.
I support the.
Then you're certainly free to make a motion. Glad to hear that. Thank you.
In fact, it should come from the committee.
Good.
The parliamentarian says that I can
Yeah. you
offer the
can hear.
motion now. Okay. I move that the Delta Township Planning Commission adopt the 2024-2029 Capital Improvements Program as prepared by the Capital Improvements Program Committee, which I'm a member of, and as amended by the Planning Commission at this meeting. I further move that the 2024-2029 CIP be transmitted to the Township Manager and Township Board for their review and acceptance.
Support.
Been moved by member Mudry, supported by member Schweitzer. Any further discussion? I just want to personally thank those members of the planning commission that took time to serve on the committee. Thank you very much. Mr. Secretary, would you call the roll?
Okay. Member Schweitzer,
Support.
Madam is absent. Member Mudry.
Support.
Kaczynski,
Support.
Elzinga,
Support.
Bradley,
Support.
McConnell supports, Hunt Proctor
Support.
and Weinfeld.
Support.
Okay, passes without objection.
The CIP is approved and will be transmitted to the township manager and township board for their review and acceptance. Thank you. Now under other business, and again, I appreciate those folks for waiting. Mr. Secretary.
Pat Riley Trucking Site Plan Review. Site plan review for tractor trailer facility on a 10.22 acre undeveloped parcel on the northwest corner of Waverly Road and Old Lansing Road.
All right, so this one should look familiar to you. This was a special land use, I think, back in December of last year, and also in front of the ZBA that same month. ZBA granted them a couple of variances for impervious parking and curbing and width of landscaping that they received. And then the special land use was, the decision was postponed until March until they provided a traffic study that indicated that their morning and evening kind of peak hours weren't going to really alter the traffic at all, despite that being kind of a problematic area. And so now they're back for site plan review. Plan is pretty much the same as the one you've seen for special land use permit, just a little bit more detailed. Applicant just informed me they have comments from both road commissions. Waverly Road is Ingham, and then Old Lansing is Eaton County. Really don't have any issues from the planning side. As we kind of discussed before, this here is gonna be primarily for, it's gonna have ingress, but also right turn only, so it kind of negates a lot of the concerns we had about traffic. Most of that was backed up in this area, so that was something we kind of came up with at the end of the last special land use permit hearing, that was kind of the major concern, was that creating traffic backups. Otherwise, like I said, same as we've seen before, truck terminal, kind of gravel parking for the storage of the trailers, but ingress off of Waverly and ingress off of Old Lansing as well, then exit just off of Old Lansing and only right turns. So then the applicant is here, and engineer, and on behalf of the applicant is here as well if you need any more questions, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have as well.
Tim?
Matt, under number 3, under section
Yep.
6.07.
Yep.
It's got dedicated ingress off Waverly Road.
Right, and I forgot to update that from that. No, the plan just show ingress off of Old Lansing, but I don't think that was gonna be an issue. It was more the people exiting, but we could potentially restrict that if we wanted to.
Right, but then it's got the drawing has got an egress off, it's got arrows both directions on the ingress.
Right here.
Okay, I didn't catch that on the first, my first look through. Okay, I guess I can ask the applicant about that. Yeah, that was supposed to be ingress only there. I don't know, that might have been comments from the Ingham Road Commission, but yeah, I can like, so that we can, the applicant is here to discuss that if.
Okay. We'll ask the applicant. Any other questions of staff?
Comment, Mr. Chair. I was one of them that raised concerns about this, but I am pleased with the right hand turn only. I think that'll help with that traffic situation. Question I have is this, it says truck. Does that mean truck and trailer? Or is that?
It would be, yeah, the store, it's, yeah, it'd be semi,
Tractor trailer.
yeah.
Okay. Because it has different implications for
Right.
the traffic, okay.
Would the applicant like to come forward? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Virgil Newman, General Manager of Pat Ride Trucking. Address is 10140 West Grand River Highway, Grand Ledge, Michigan, 48837.
Thank you, sir. Tim, we got a question?
The drawing has got, as we've discussed, as egress and ingress
Matt, can you pull?
on Waverly Road. And the narrative here has got ingress only on Waverly Road.
I'll answer this one, please. I am Kirk Perhulik with DC Engineering. We designed the site. We are at 1210 North Cedar Street in Lansing, Michigan. We have, I think it's maybe the drive off of Waverly has always been designed to be two-way. Keep in mind, we still have residential type cars, employees, workers that are coming in standard vehicles that we do want to have in and out onto Waverly Road. Ingham County, I can make sure I get the right one. Ingham County Road Commission has no objections to that being two-way, even if there's semi-trailers coming through it. So they're okay with all of that. The intent for the operations of the site is they are going to tell all of their truckers that they want them to come into the site via Waverly because they're anticipating they're coming off of Old Lansing Road, make a turn onto Waverly, be able to make a right turn coming into the site. It's always easiest for tractor trailers to make right turns, not left turns. Come into the site, repair facility, park, exit, make a right turn on the exit on the Lake Lansing, a right turn onto Mount Hope, And then they're back out to Old Lansing Road. So that is the intended operations from the tractor trailer standpoint. Standard cars are going to be able to go both ways at both intersect, both driveways.
Thank you. Any further questions for the applicant?
I don't know, Mr. Chair. The intersection of, no, this is for the applicant or for staff. The intersection of Mount Hope and Old Lansing Road. When there is heavy rain, ends up being puddles down at the base down there. And my question, I guess, of staff, does the site plan, will the flow of the driveway have any impact on the flow of water for that intersection?
I believe it shouldn't. I mean, so the site plan you designed to kind of direct or keep water on site that was going to be there, so it shouldn't redirect water elsewhere. But the engineer can maybe speak.
If you take a look, if you zoom into that driveway. Yeah, you can see,
Sorry.
Oops,
Sorry. A little unwieldy here. All right.
All right, so you see we have what we labeled there is PRCV10 and CV12. Those are at the bottom of the hill. So those catch basins will collect the water coming down the driveway. Also then there already is a ditch along Old Lansing Road. So any water that's the little land area around there would drain into the ditch and not go into the roadway. And on the site, then if you pan out the full site there, Matt, we do have in the north, get my directions right, the northwest corner where the arrow is a very large detention basin that's basically collecting the north half of the site. And it will release the water at pre-development, almost pre-civilization rates. Drain office, requires that rate to go back to before man was here. But we have one big one there that's collecting the north half at the southeast corner on Old Lansing Road. You see there's another detention basin there. You covered it up, paint it down or paint it up. Yeah.
Or this, you check on something.
Right there. No, that's the top. Move your cursor left. There you go. Got a second detention basin that is collecting all the flow coming from the south half of the parking lot. Again, we're detaining it to a discharge rate of less than, us being here. We should, we won't be adding anything to any problems that are in Old Lansing Road. We may in fact be making them a little bit better because we have to go back to pre-development standards. But, then I would add, if you are having problems, there is a 72-inch storm pipe that crosses Old Lansing Road down at that location. If you are having problems, it might be worthwhile to ask the drain office to make some drainage improvements for you.
Thank you. Good, Member McConnell?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing I forgot too was one of the stipulations of the special land use permit was that the Old Lansing Road needed to be made into a truck route. Gary's working on a laundry list of ordinance updates, and that's one of them. So we're not going to hold that against the applicant. That hasn't been proposed to Township Board yet, but will be done by the time this is all built out. So.
And we'll add them to Matt, the road commission has all the paperwork. Old Lansing in that section, those two roads, Old Lansing and Mount Hope, into all weather.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Members, would be your pleasure.
Mr. Chair,
Member Moudry.
I have a motion to make.
Very good.
I move that the Delta Township Planning Commission approve the preliminary site plans for the Pat Riley trucking facility as illustrated on the site plans prepared by DC Engineering dated June 14th, 2023, subject to the following stipulations, which there are 3.
Support.
Been moved by member Moudry, supported by member Hunt Proctor. Any further discussion? It's a voice or a roll call vote.
Voice.
Thank you, member Schweik. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. Motion's adopted. Thank you very much. All right. That concludes the business portion of the meeting. Time now for public comments. Yes, sir.
Greetings. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Peter Menzer. I'm the Economic Development or Community and Economic Development Director at Delta. So I've been here since April. I've been to a couple of Planning Commission meetings. The one thing I wanted to talk about that's in your realm or will be eventually is the Corridor Improvement Authority Board met in this room this afternoon at 4. And they have a survey on the streets right now. It's a public input survey about the Saginaw Highway Corridor. So from Broadbent all the way down to Waverly. And the results of that survey, we've got 600 responses so far. And the results of that survey are going to be discussed at the Corridor Improvement Authority's board's meeting in September, which is the 11th. From there, that group is working with Progressive AE as consultant Suzanne Schultz. You may have heard of her in the planning world over the years. It's going to be working with that group to kind of coalesce all the analysis and the results of the survey into some action items or some policy decisions, and which they would then transmit to other groups. Part of which, what I understand, kind of part of the broader comprehensive discussions about Saginaw Highway would be then some of this information could fall into like the master planning process for the Saginaw Highway Corridor. So I just wanted to give you a progress update on that, hoping to have that survey and kind of the analysis and next steps wrapped up between September, October, and to have something ahead in front of this group, not for necessarily for action, but for input by this fall.
Super.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, one quick question for you. Just out of curiosity, this is a researcher in me talking. So how was that survey distributed? And do you have a sense of what kind of return rate?
I don't have a sense on return rate. The methods we've used are kind of all encompassing. It's we relied heavily on Township website and social media. So it's been on the Township's Facebook page for a while now. I learned recently what boosting is. You can pay to have something boosted and it goes out to more people then. So that happened. We did a direct mail piece to about 16,000 households and that which survey specific. It was in well, on the side I worked kind of with we have a lot of volunteers as part, being in local government. So, and you would have gotten an email from me as well. So we sent it to as many kind of low hanging fruit as we've got, boards and commissions, township staff, some larger businesses in the area. I hit the corridor just on foot, trying to get them in front of people in any place that was appropriate to issue. We have little business cards that I have there's a QR code and it has the survey link. So I tried to get that out to places. We've got a couple area restaurants handing them out to their customers when they come. So one north and Carrabba's. We're willing to do that for us. And then it's not Delta now, the other Talk of the Township. It was in the Talk of the Township, which is I think, yeah, there's the business card. Thank you. And it was in the Talk of the Township, which is either the quarterly, I think that's the quarterly publication that the township does. And then just kind of word of mouth in other ways. So I've been reaching out to businesses trying to get them, like, for example, LAFQ, get it to one of their staff and then they can send it to their employees. So a lot of different ways. It's probably not perfect, scientifically perfect, but we're trying to get it out there. But I don't know how many people saw it and didn't take it.
Pretty exhaustive though, in terms of things that you've tried. That's pretty
That's a
impressive
good
for a
response.
public survey, frankly.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I've got it about 2 or 3 times from different sources.
I think manager Reed stated that they usually get between 300 and 400. And so like the fact that we're at 6, I think is
That's
Very
really
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
I think we were under 2 for the master plan.
Hope to be
Okay,
better.
we've obviously skipped through public comments and are on to planning director comments.
Gary could not be here today, so I'm taking his spot. Coming up for the fall, there's Delta Crossings has had some meetings with Delta Township officials, so that may be coming back sometime soon. There's really no specific.
Their legal issues?
They had finally worked out their legal issues. It is the original developer who's the regional developer, K2.
Yeah.
Has, approached Brian and Gary and Peter and had a meeting, and that he has another project and, another phase that he wants to do.
What's with our at-home structure?
It may be salvageable. There weren't a lot of questions answered from my understanding.
So the original developer is back in.
Correct.
And is the main, okay, that's good to know. Thank you. Peter, anything to add to that? When you come to these meetings, you're gonna be in
No,
trouble.
the only thing I would add to that is, everything Dave said was correct. The only thing I would add is I think the message from the township was that, we've got the priority are punch list items, and taking care of the things that Dave mentioned before we'll consider new projects
Anything
on the site. So it's just getting everything wrapped up, the most visible, which being the at-home building. I heard the same thing that, they may be able to have that tenant come, whether or not the structure out there is viable to build on, or if they need to do something different, we'll all find out soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Member Proctor.
Zap Zone, any idea when they're gonna be moving?
Peter?
So we were working with Zap Zone. The board recommended approval of a liquor license. So we have a new type of liquor license called Development District Liquor License. Well, it's not I shouldn't say we. The state has a type of category then that's it's a license that's only available to communities that have development districts, like a DDA or a corridor improvement authority. So the township has a corridor improvement authority. So some businesses meeting certain investment criteria and other kinds of things are eligible for this license. So we went through the board process to kind of create a process for that, and to accept that we would be issuing, or not, don't get me wrong, the township does not issue the licenses, but the township makes recommendations on these types of licenses. So they recommended approval to the MLCC. Zap Zone is applying for their license. But they have to be out of the building that they were in. The whole parking lot's under construction right now by September.
Wow.
And then they're planning on moving into the mall. They want to be open for holiday stuff, like at the end of November. So they're looking at which I had no idea that the holiday office party market apparently is a really huge market. So they're trying to be set up and have alcohol for those events.
And is that primer on the building, or is that gonna be the actual color?
I think it's primer. Yeah, I don't think that's.
Well, they must already have the license for the liquor, because it's taking them forever to paint that gray.
They don't have the license yet, but they will, I'm assuming that barring some unknown investigation that happens between the state and the business, but it's 125,000 square feet. It'll be quite a facility when it's complete.
I actually want to say a liquor license is a good thing. That'll be a good entertainment venue. It'll come with its challenges, but also a lot of opportunities. So.
Yeah, and then if you heard the board discussion on that item, there was some discussion about where in the space that alcohol can be served.
Yeah.
And between the MLCC, they have investigators that go on site that they'll look at where are the best places, where do we want to keep it out of, where do we want to allow service. So they're working through all of that right now.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
In terms of the Macy's and Hula Hands, anything that you're aware of?
Those are still vacant. Nothing new on Macy's. And you saw the Daily Deals space closed recently. So yeah, the Macy's wing is vacant. The Daily Deals space is empty. Other than them Zap Zone taking over Yonkers. So those are the biggest updates I've got. There's some new tenants, but that's no major news.
I wouldn't go anywhere if I were. Any other? Okay, I have one. The cracked chicken place. Is that?
August 21st is what you thought? 21st, yeah.
So
I'm sorry? August 21st.
he's announcing being open, as long as he's not using the drive-through, he can open. Yeah, I gotta get in touch with him about that. I'm still trying to convince him just to give up on that dream, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
Is that owner the one also on the one on MLK, do you know?
I believe he does.
It has to be because the only place they.
Yeah, I met the whole family. I think his brother, his son is gonna
Edgewood.
run the one out Saginaw, yeah.
Wonder if it's got a franchise.
They all say, you buy, we cry, they all say that.
Okay. All right, any other comments from planning commissioners?
The parking lot over by Longhorn with all the potholes, who's responsible for that?
That would be the Lansing Mall. Owns that lot, I believe, unless. Yeah, we can check, because they did sell a whole bunch of outlets, like I know Applebee's is its own entity now, but
But
Longhorn,
we don't have an ordinance that would require them to,
we might be able to do something in or Blight.
which one are we talking about?
I think it's one at the corner.
Go
there.
Which up here?
No.
I got a couple more questions. So maybe it'll stop by the time I get.
Lansing Mall Realty.
No, across the street from there.
One.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. The whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, so they're actually privately owned now.
Those that Longhorn lot is privately owned. So we don't know who owns that space. It's not owned by the mall.
It's owned
It's
by
Jonathan
Jen-
Cypern Investment LLC.
Okay.
Because they got a lot of potholes and a lot of cars parked there when they go to eat.
Okay, since it is pouring out, I have another question. The Meyer. When they close the backside in November, do we know what the plan is for that? Is that going to remain a parking lot? Parking space? Are they going?
I think, they'll probably remain parking spaces, but they're taking that back
Yeah,
exit
yeah, no, I know.
out completely. And, from my understanding is that the prescription drive-through is going to be, around the back. As far as, what they plan to do with that extra space,
Do they own that extra space or could they then sell it as outlots?
they could probably sell it as outlets.
Yeah, because I don't know why anyone would want to park there. if they're going
Yeah, I don't know why I
to
would want to park there either. So, yeah, okay, just wondering. That'll be interesting. All right, any other comments? I know I have gone over
What's all
Vice
right.
Chair Hunt Proctor's speedy meetings. I just want to personally thank Member Hunt Proctor for chairing the first two meetings I was supposed to be chairing. We were on vacation both times, and my apologies to the commissioners.
Oh, that's even worse.
I thought that'd be a good reason. Okay, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
So
Support.
We moved in support. We adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Now we need
Thank you.
wine.
Thank you,
Now we need
Peter, for
wine.
being here. Appreciate it. And I am sorry I wasn't here when you introduced yourself.
I've been